Okay, so right now we're going to learn how to make fresh, raw, tasty chocolate that's actually damn healthy for you. And we're going to do it with some simple ingredients from local Whole Foods. So check this out. This right here is organic raw cacao butter. Now cacao butter is essentially the raw form of chocolate. It enables you to melt it down and have like real chocolate, not the crap you buy in stores, but real stuff that tastes amazing. Right here we've got cacao butter, cacao powder. And cacao powder, what this does is you basically melt this down and you put this back with this, and they all kind of love each other and turn into some chocolate making, you know what I'm saying? But you can't stop there because you need to actually have some sweetness. Because, you know, chocolate that's just bitter isn't so sweet. So we've got some maple syrup, which is an excellent sweetener. And we've got some honey, really raw honey, which is excellent on the taste buds. I'll show you how to make a tea-type chocolate later with just honey. It's amazing. And for those of you who prefer low glycemic, maybe if you have some hypoglycemia issues or diabetic type stuff, Yacon syrup. Now this is something I ordered online from Sun Food Nutrition, but Yacon syrup is a little known treasure in the food world. What it is it actually is a root that has a sweetness to it. It has almost a cinnamony flavor to it, which works well with chocolate. You can combine this with maybe a stevia or some, I think it's called xylitol, stuff like that. You can mix those together for real low glycemic index type sweetness that gets the job done, the sweet factor, without the high glycemicness. So a couple other things we have here. Now these are true treasures. When you're gonna go with a higher glycemic base, if you use a little bit of cinnamon, it actually mellows out the blood sugar level for it and makes it a lot more palatable for people, so there's not that big spike in your blood sugar. And finally, this is a gem. This is pink Himalayan salt, and we're actually going to sprinkle a little bit of salt in with the chocolate, and what it's going to do is it will actually make it sweeter. And this is the only salt that I know that'll actually make chocolate sweeter with a little bit of salt in it. So we're going to come back here and then start making this stuff together and show you each step of the process. Okay, welcome back. And so right here we have raw cacao butter. And what I'm doing, as you can see here, is I'm shaving it down into very thin slices of this. And what you do is you take a nice kind of cutting knife here and you just gently carve into it like such, almost like you're cutting a carrot or something, but you're really just trying to shave down parts of it. And one little known thing about cacao, the raw cacao is actually one of the highest density of nutrients and minerals of any food on the planet. Between minerals and nutrients, there's over 1,200 minerals and nutrients in cacao, and it's super dense in stuff that's really good for your body. So what we're making here is actually quite healthy because we're not stripping out all the good stuff with overheating it as what the stuff you get in the stores, and we're leaving just the pure good essential cacao in the mix. So I'm just about done here. What I'm going to do, I'll put this aside, is I'm going to take and use what I call a double boiler method, or it's called a double boiler method, not my term for it, but I'm going to scoop some of this up here and put it in, and over on the side here, we've got water already in a pot, and I'm going to place this in here into what's called a double boiler and turn it on. This limits the amount of heat that gets into it and allows it to melt down at a temperature that's not overly hot, but still melts it down so that it keeps the enzymes intact. Ideally, this actually keeps it under the 118 degree mark, because at 118 degrees and above, you start losing the enzyme activity out of food. And this keeps it so there's a better overall taste to it. It doesn't roast the chocolate. It doesn't overheat it, which takes a lot of flavor out of it. So you leave a lot of the pure, essential goodness right in it, and you can taste it on your taste buds at the end of the day. So stay tuned. We're going to melt this down and then show you how to actually put this together so you have some real chocolate made from pure cacao. Okay, we're going to actually make the chocolate now. What we have here is we have some melted down cacao butter. You can see how it's all very nicely melted there. That is the base. So we've got the cacao powder. We're going to add the two so they're kind of getting all lovey-dovey with each other, so they're coming back to their chocolate form. And I'm going to start stirring this together here. I like stirring with a fork just because I think it breaks up the powder a little bit more, makes it a little smoother. You can use a spoon, they both work. So putting a little bit more in, make it nice and rich here. So you can see how that's all coming together. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add some sweetener. Now I personally like adding maple syrup to chocolate. I think it gives it a great taste. We're going to add some maple syrup. We're also going to add some honey as well. So add a little bit of honey here. And this is all just really good ingredients. I mean, this is a pure maple syrup. This is a really raw honey. Very, very good and tasty for you. Lots of enzymes in this honey, so it works well with your whole body. Very, very good stuff. And here's a little known fact. Beekeepers by profession, if you look at longevity by profession, beekeepers actually have the longest living grouping of people by professions. People who are beekeepers on average live into their late 90s, which is pretty remarkable if you ask me. So mixing all this together, it's coming together really well. Melting down the honey here. We're going to add some new things in just a second. We're going to make it a little bit sweeter still by adding some Himalayan salt, which I did some cracking of the salt just a minute ago. You can grind it or you can get it already in pre-ground form. So I'm just going to take a pinch of this right here and sprinkle it in. And we'll go for one extra pinch because this is really good stuff. Adds a nice flavor to it. Alright, so that's done. Getting this all mixed up. This is starting to come to a great consistency here. And now to level out the, you may say, oh, it looks like you put a lot of sweetener in there, which in fact didn't really put that much. It was, maybe on the higher end, but we're going to level it out with a little bit of cinnamon so it doesn't spike the blood sugar too much. And that gives a nice little, put a little dash there. You can see the cinnamon in. Gives a great flavoring to it and excellent smell to the chocolate, which you'll see a little later when you actually break the chocolate. Just it smells wonderful. So there's a few things you can do with it this form. We can basically take it from here and do a lot. If you like fruits, then this is the perfect time to move over here and bring in maybe an apple or some strawberries. You could dip strawberries right in here and pull them out and put them down. You got freshly dipped strawberries, which are so good. And right now we're going to take some apple. We're going to just sprinkle this over the apple. And actually, right here would be better. It's good. It's really good. We're going to take a spoon and we're just going to drizzle that over the apple. Make a nice little tasty chocolate apple here. And now another thing you can add to this is if you have fresh vanilla bean, you could add a little bit of vanilla bean to it. It gives it a nice little addition to the taste factor. Super good, super tasty. Alright, now that we've got all the apple nice and chocolatied up. Other things you can do, if you have raspberries, a fun thing to do is put the raspberries up on their top and then just like drip fresh chocolate right into the raspberry to fill it up, and then you put it in the fridge, as you see in a second, and it makes the raspberries like chocolate inside them, and they're just like, oh, so good. The strawberries, I mean, who doesn't love chocolate strawberries, especially when they're fresh made? They're amazing. So what we do now is take this, we're going to put this one in the fridge here and let that just kind of cool off a little bit. You can also use the freezer. And then we've got this over here, which we're going to use a, let's see here. We're going to use a little container, and let me see if I can find one over here. This is in real time, people. Forgot to get the container I wanted to use, so let's see if we can find one real quick. Okay, this will work. So I've got a little container here. Now, if you have almond butter or maybe a pecan butter or some sort of like a really tasty butter, cashew butter works for this, you could put some of that in the bottom of a container and then dribble some chocolate on top of it, make yourself a really nice tasty dessert. I'm going to pour some of this in here, and this is going to be like a chocolate, just one piece of chocolate here that will break up into smaller pieces a little later. But we're going to put this in the freezer and let that cool off. And then when it's about half cooled, we'll put some slices in it so it can break up real easy. And let me pop that right in there. And then one thing that you can do as well is, I'm just starting to learn how to do this. I've got a great friend of mine, Jeffrey Botticelli. He's a world-class chocolate maker. He actually flies the cacao in from Ecuador and does like these amazing truffles and chocolate bars. And what he does is he does a tempering process where he'll actually lay out some of the chocolate and then let it kind of cool a little bit. And where is... Basically, he'll spread it out just a wee bit, let it cool, and then he'll reheat it once it's cooled down a little bit. So what that does is it makes the fat molecules just kind of bind together. They just kind of go like this, and it gives a nice sheen and shine to it. So it brings the temperature down just slightly and really acts as a tempering process. Now, my buddy Jeff, who is this just amazing chocolate maker, he used to be a world-class blacksmith. And so he understood tempering right away from his days as a blacksmither. And so I'm just kind of pulling this out, and then I'm going to see how that comes out. You'll see it on another video here, but we're going to reheat that a little bit and then put it together. Actually, I'll see if I can get the rest of this in. Yeah. Perfect. So just kind of letting this cool off just a wee bit. And obviously, if you have a bigger cutting board, or if you have even like a marble or granite stone, that'd be a lot better for this. But it is definitely cooling down a little bit. And then we will reheat it in just a moment here. So, hope you're enjoying this. Again, this is Otto, and we'll see you on the next video. Okay, so we just worked on the tempering of the chocolate, and I just reheated it in the double boiler over there. And I've got some reheated chocolate that's been kind of tempered. And I'm actually, we don't really have molds here, but I'm going to use some ice cube tray here to just try this out for creating little truffles. And so I'm going to dip it in here. And then this should create a very nice sheen and shine to the chocolate from the little bit of tempering that we did with it. So we're just gonna make it up and see how it goes and try it out, and hopefully we'll have the tastiest chocolate ever. By the way, it is pretty darn good. We were sampling a little bit of it in the off-camera time here. So get that. This is going to be really good. Alright. And now we're just going to chill it out. So I'm going to put this in the freezer, and you can kind of see the consistency of it if you look in here. You can already see it's got a little bit of a shine to it. I think this is going to be really, really tasty. And this is some of the initial formings of the other chocolate that we've made. It's going to go in for a little bit longer, but you can see it's starting to set up a mold on the sides here, and it's going to cool down a little bit more in the freezer. So, all right, putting it in, and we'll see you in the next video showing the finished product. So here's the apple in its finished form. We got a nice, good bit of chocolate right here. I'm gonna try it out. That's really good. You gotta make this. This is really good. So, we'll show you some more chocolate in a second here. If high glycemia is a challenge for you, we're going to make a little bit of chocolate here that's hopefully a lot easier on your glycemic index. So I got a little bit of cacao butter that's been melted down here, mixing it with the cacao powder, and then we're going to add a secret ingredient called yacone. And I mentioned this earlier. Yacone syrup is actually made from a root, and it's super, super, super low on the glycemic index. You can see how it's spelled there, Y-A-C-O-N, and very, very, very good stuff. Smells almost like a cinnamony flavor to it, and we'll add a little bit of this to it. And this just makes it a little bit easier on that glycemic index. And then this you're probably going to have to order online. Over here, I've got a touch of stevia. This is actually some chocolate stevia, and I'm going to mix a little bit of this in here for the flavoring aspect. The cacao butter, when you get it on your hands, makes your hands a little bit slippery. So, alright, add a little bit of this to it. I'm going to do about 3/4 of a dropper on this. A little stevia goes a long way. So we got this, we're mixing it up, and I'll add just a touch of cinnamon for a little extra flavor to it here. Vanilla bean would be another good thing to add to this for flavoring. And so we're just going to mix it up here. Smell it. It smells very chocolate cinnamony. It's very, very, very delightful. So there we have it. And we'll add a touch of little pinch of salt to make it just a wee bit sweeter. This Himalayan pink salt. So that's in. Mix that a little bit more. I'll bring out a little more sweetness to it. And let's try the taste. All right, here's the big test. That's surprisingly good. For something that's very low in glycemic index, this is excellent. When you're doing it, instead of 3/4 of a dropper of the stevia, I'd probably use a half. Tastes like I put a little too much stevia in it, and maybe a touch more of the yacone, just to balance it out a little bit. See, when you're making this, sometimes you just got to put a little extra in or a little less. I don't personally go by measurements. I don't formally measure anything. I just go by the feel of it, because chocolate's a very feeling-oriented food, for me at least, and feel what calls to you. So mixing that up just a little bit more. We'll try it again. That is much better. That is very good. So try it out. If you've got a glycemic index challenge. This will be very, very good. You can try it out, see how you like it, and go from there. So, hope you have a good one. We have the first chocolate we made here, which was sweetened with some honey and some maple syrup. And it's had a nice form to it, so we're just going to add with a butter knife here some lines so it's real easy to cut into. And then we can put it back in for a little longer, or we can try a piece right now and see how it is, which might be preferable here. Yeah, that one needs a little bit more time, but we'll grab a little bit out of here, just trying to break it up a little bit. And let's see. Now this is a little bit unfinished raw cacao treat. Let's try it. Wow. Wow. That is amazing. Man, I wish you were here to try this. This is really so freaking good. But you know how to make it now, so definitely try this out for yourself. This is phenomenal. Awesome. I'll show you the next the truffles we have in the next video. So what we have here now is we actually have the finished truffles. You can take a look here. I'm going to start popping these out and see what they come out like as. And then over on the right here, this is the finished honey plus maple syrup chocolate. And now, if you want to make chocolate that is really good for tea, actually just use honey in with the chocolate, nothing else, and it'll actually, if you put it into a glass container, when you make it, it'll actually have the honey kind of sink to the bottom and then formulate on the bottom of it, but it would have like a chocolate layer over the top of it. So it's great with tea and a spoon. You kind of bring it up and you have this honey just kind of dripping out of it. All like pull it out, and you have sip some honey and then eat some chocolate and excuse me, sip some tea and then eat some chocolate and honey, and it's really good. So let's check out these truffles and see how they came out. Oh yeah, these look good. Here, let's do a close up in on these. These came out pretty good for using a little ice tray. And you can look in here, you can kind of see how the honey is formed a little bit differently on this one. This is kind of like a gooey inside center. Really tasty. Okay, so this is the sweetened kind. Let's get this popped out, and we'll break it into the pieces. Careful of that. And you can look in here and see how it's just kind of broken together there. Very tasty stuff. And then, hello kitty. Here we have the low glycemic chocolate, which came out a little crisper, a little more kind of crunch to it, so to speak. Scrape the sides here, and so this is the finished chocolate on the low glycemic, and it tastes really good. Yeah, it's got a long flavor to it, kind of crunchy to start, and then very long lasting flavor. So if you're diabetic, this will actually work for you because of how low of the glycemic index it is. It's sweetened with stevia and yacone syrup. Here's that yacone syrup again, and really good stuff. So that's the chocolate that we made up, and then we still have a little bit of the apple left. So whether you want to have fruit or truffles or just unfinished chocolate or even low glycemic chocolate, it all works. You know how to make the base of the chocolate now. It tastes good. You can experiment with adding different things to it. Maybe some maca M-A-C-A, maca is really good to mix in with chocolate. Sometimes I like maca instead of cacao powder. Mix it with the cacao butter and maca. And what maca is, it's like a root that the Peruvian warriors used to eat it before going into battle, and it like increases your testosterone, and guys tend to like it a lot. I love the flavor of it. It's there's different types of maca. There's maca, red maca, and like maca extreme, and different flavors of it. So experiment with what you like if you happen to try that. But you know how to make chocolate now, and hopefully this has been an enjoyable few videos, and you know, we're gonna go enjoy this because this is really good. So make it a great day.